The Nuggets had the hopes of a 10-game win streak ripped away from them at the hands of the Los Angeles Lakers. This is your Denver Sports Daily for February 24th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
On Saturday, the Nuggets welcomed the Lakers to town in hopes of winning their 10th game in a row for the first time under Michael Malone and with Nikola Jokic on the team. But unfortunately, the Nuggets couldn't get it done, losing 123-100 at home. Now, the key thing, what led to the downfall of this game, was clear from the beginning of the game: the turnovers. Denver's turnovers were by and large the death of them, giving the ball away 20 times, leading to 33 points off turnovers for the Lakers. You're never going to win if you're giving the ball up 20 times and then allowing 33 points off of those 20 turnovers. It just will never lead to a win. Now, doing that comparatively to the Lakers only giving the ball up 8 times, it's just that ratio is not there, and it's not ever going to lead to a win, and especially it's going to lead to blowout losses like this one was. Now, it was also only a matter of time before Luka Doncic finally found his rhythm in LA. He put up 32 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, the way he has played for most of his career, especially last season when he was up there with Nikola Jokic for MVP. He looked like that guy again. And it's a real, it's kind of scary to think about. You know, you think about how the Nuggets and the Lakers always meet each other in the playoffs. With somebody like Luka Doncic, if he can get into his rhythm like he did on Saturday night, this will be an issue for the Nuggets in the playoffs. Now, Nikola Jokic did record another triple-double, but it was an ugly one. It wasn't good. He had 12 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists while only shooting 2 for 7 from the field and recording 6 of those 20 turnovers. Now, after this loss, the Nuggets are now 37-20 and tied for third place in the West, giving up their second seed after only having it for one day. Now, the good news is, moving on, it is a Nuggets game day. The Nuggets look to get back in their win column, and if they can win, they would move into the second spot. Now, they're taking on the Indiana Pacers tonight in their first matchup of the season. Now, this matchup may seem like one you can just throw away under a rug, but surprisingly, it should be a pretty good contest. The Pacers are 32-23 and 4th in the East and look to make a deep playoff run just like the Nuggets. Now, if the Nuggets can get a W tonight, they would move into that second spot like I was saying earlier. They need to get a win here if they want to start looking towards playoffs. But one thing I want to be weary about going into this last stretch of the season, what you saw Denver do last year, they played very hard. They were very good after the All-Star break. But if they do that same kind of thing, we saw what happened to them last season in the playoffs. They were gassed. They were tired. You don't have to play as hard. Stay in the top 3 in the standings, and that's fine. You get a top 3 position in the playoffs, that's great. That'll do. That'll work. You're getting into the playoffs, and no matter what, Denver is built to win a championship now. So whatever seed, even if they're the 8th seed, getting through a play-in spot, they're still going to be the favorite in my eyes to win the championship. So don't play too hard. Now, Denver is going into this game as 5-point favorites tonight, and that game will tip off at 5 p.m. It's going to be a good one. But still, with losses like that to the Lakers, they got to get one here. But again, you got to go into this last part of the season and just cruise through it. Cruise. Get to the playoffs. Don't play too hard. Don't go for the first seed like they did last year. And especially don't go for the first seed if you're going to lose to a terrible team at the end of this, in the last game of the season, and give it away. That's what happened last year. So don't play too hard. They got to go out and get wins like this against good teams, but there's no reason that Nikola Jokic has to play all 48 minutes. Doesn't need to happen. Play Zeke Naji. Get him some minutes. Get him ready for the playoffs. So that's where that is. Now, the Avalanche this weekend had back-to-back games, and they lost both of them on Saturday and Sunday. In their first games back from the Four Nations face-off, the Avs were bested by the Nashville Predators and the St. Louis Blues. Now, on Saturday, the Avs traveled to Nashville and lost 2-1 to the Predators, then went on to the St. Louis Blues on Sunday and lost 3-1. Obviously, not great. After those losses, the Avs are 33-24-2 and still sit in the 4th spot in the Central Division, but they're continuing to fall behind Minnesota. They're 4 points ahead of them. Minnesota is in the standings. They need to get wins to get themselves back into contention to be one of the better teams in the league. What's happening is you're seeing them start to fade. They're falling in that 4th spot, and they're falling further and further away from being one of the top teams in the Central Division. They need to get back on track. Only 4 points behind Minnesota. A win on Thursday would be, or Wednesday, excuse me, would be huge. Now, the Avs, again, do have that chance to get back on track on Wednesday when they take on the New Jersey Devils. Should be a good game. Again, with that, it's a real shame that they couldn't start off hot after that little break. Losing 2 games back-to-back is never good. And again, it wasn't really a break. You saw a lot of Avs players in that Four Nations face-off, a lot of them in the final. So they didn't really have much of a break. You saw them, they weren't playing like they do in the NBA All-Star game when they're just walking around up and down the court. That game was heated. They were going in. They were playing with all of their effort that they had. So doing that, it wasn't really a break. They didn't really have a chance to calm down, catch your breath. That was the All-Star break, but now it's not. So doing that, losing 2 games right off the back of that, you got to fall into a better streak than that. You can't go out and lose 2 right away and say, you know what, all right, it's fine. Got to get wins now. The Avs have to. Now, moving on, Shedeur Sanders will not be throwing in the 2025 Combine. The NFL Combine begins this Thursday, and despite Sanders attending, he will not be showcasing his arm talents. Sanders will apparently be waiting until Pro Day to throw with his draftable CU teammates. Now, Shedeur is going to be speaking with teams, partaking in interviews, and focusing on other facets of the Combine rather than actually throwing out there and doing things like that. Now, for someone whose draft stock may already be falling, and I say that with a grain of salt because of the last mock draft that came out that had him falling to the Raiders instead of being taken by the Giants like a lot of people think he may be, this may not be the best move. Sure, his film with CU will show off his game in a lot of different ways. That'll show off his in-game strengths, and that's what he's most likely looking for. Let the film do the talking. But the Combine is supposed to be where you could show pure talent in a confined area. You get a chance to go out there. There's no crowd. It's just people you're playing with. You're going to be other people that are going to be drafted. You get out there and you throw. This is a good time to just showcase what you're about. And sitting, I'm not a big fan of this move. I'm not a big fan of that move. That's going to do it for your Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Good morning, Joey. The Lakers had a plan for Jokic for sure. They did. You could see it. And I'm not a big JJ Redick believer. I know I'm not. But JJ Redick, he's got the ability that most coaches don't have. He was just in the league. He's played against guys like Nikola Jokic. He's played them. He's played with LeBron James, played against LeBron James. He knows players' strengths actually being out on the court. So that gives him a little bit of a boost when he's trying to game plan against somebody like Nikola Jokic. Not the fact that he's already been told how to stop him by his former coaches when he's going up against him, but the fact that when you're actually out there, it's one-on-one with another guy, you can see it in a different way. And JJ Redick, I got to give him props because he shut Nikola Jokic down. I mean, you don't see Nikola Jokic shooting 2 for 7 often. Now, sure, Jokic did end up with a triple-double, but that's just Nikola Jokic. That's going to happen no matter what. But JJ Redick really did a very good job at stopping him and nullifying him, getting him out of there. Actually tied for a second. You mean the Nuggets game? Yeah, no, it was tied. They got back into the late. They had the lead in the third quarter, and then they just gave it back away. The Lakers went on a huge run in the late third and for the entire fourth quarter. Basically, it wasn't great. It was a bad showing from the Nuggets, and you'd think that they would be better, going for the first 10-game win streak that Michael Malone has ever had, but it just didn't look like it. There was no effort, and maybe that's part of just kind of wanting to cruise into a playoff spot. And again, if it is, I'm a fan of that. Don't go out there and, put all this effort into games when you already know that you're going to be a playoff team. I get that. But also, you don't want to tempt the basketball gods. You know what I mean? That's going to do it for your Never Sports Daily. I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. Hopefully recapping a Nuggets win, getting it back on track, beating the Pacers. And then, we got some more stuff going on. The draft is getting closer. The Combine is here. It's going to be a fun week. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.